Okay, now that we've got our practice rod, we're feeling confident, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping. I'm going to start with our hook keeper here. So we're going to check our thread tension, make sure we have a nice steady thread tension, not too hard, not too light. We're going to put it through our little line guide here. This helps steer things the direction we want to go. You know, your first time you might want to start maybe a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch away from the guide foot. When I say guide foot, this is the tip of the guide foot right here. This happens to be a hook keeper. This is what we call the foot. You know, the farther you are away, the larger it looks, and if you're happy with that, that's fantastic. For this purposes, we're going to start a little far away. So that's about a 1/4 inch or so. I'm going to go ahead and wrap over the top of it. I'm forming an X here, which is either a 1/2 hitch or, you know, an X just wrapping over it. So we've wrapped over it 3 times. And we'll go ahead and do it 4. Now we're going to burnish, push the thread straight and clean. So now we wrapped over it 5 times. We're going to go ahead and cut it and continue to wrap. I'm helping it a little bit with my tool, just pushing it over a little bit and wrapping over. So we're about maybe 5 or 6 wraps from finishing it. We want to finish this just before the hump starts going upwards. We want our thread to lay flat on the blank as Y. So we get 5 or 6 wraps before the end. We want to put our pull through or loop through. Again, you can use your thread tag ends here or whatever, about 5 or 6 inches. You make a nice easy loop. I like to keep it nice and even. And we're going to place it underneath the thread, going towards the guide or the ring of the guide, always working the loop away from where you started. You want to place it, if at all possible, on the opposite side of where your guide is. So the guide's down here and my loop started up here on the opposite side. This is so that you have a nice, steady, even tension. If you try to put it over here, because of the height of the guide foot, it's going to become a little loose, and when you pull it through, if there's no tension, it comes unwound. You got to do it over again. It happens, so. Well, now we're wrapping over this 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. We'll do just a little bit of burnish. And again, we'll double check. I'm a little close, so I'm going to pull my loop over a little bit, and it's easy to do just like that. Now I'm confident I'm on the opposite side. I'm going to put my finger to hold tension. I'm going to cut my thread, put my tag in through the loop. Now that I have tension here, I can let off my finger. I'm going to pull these through here. And now I have a nice easy tension. And most fishing rods, they come with the decal. This one happens to say the Forecast, which is the brand of the product, the model number, the line and lure rate, or weight. And a lot of folks like to put these on. Helps give more value to the rod. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this on. What I like to do is the decal has a certain width, and I like to wrap thread over the top of the corners. So it helps from lifting it up. So I want to measure. I like these both to be somewhat equal in length, so and this one's off the foot, about maybe 3/8 or so. So I'm just going to make a little mark here. Try to be just past the guide foot at about 3/8. I'm going to scratch the blank a little bit. Just made a little mark here. You can use a ruler if you want to measure it. It's not that important. Just want to make sure you're not going to wrap over the lettering and stuff on the decal. This gives me a spot to where I'm going to start my Forecast decal. Keep in mind that this being a spinning rod, these guides are going to go pointed straight down. So let's say if you put your decal on upside down, then this is how you got to look at it. It looks kind of silly. So right side up would be the way you do it with the guides straight down. Makes sense. So this is how I do it. Everybody has their own way. I like to grab this corner with just my fingertips or my fingernail. Try not to put any fingerprints on the decal itself, so just be real careful. I like to fold this back like this and make a little tab, and I can kind of put it wherever I want it and not have to worry about it folding on top of each other. Okay, and I'm going to slide it right here on the side, right on my mark. And then you can take whatever round object or pin, or use your fingers as long as they're clean. Remember, clean hands, clean hands. I'm not going to use my hands on this one, but I'm going to use my little tool here. We're going to work our way up and work our way back down. And we're going to go back down again. Again, if you foul up your decal, we have 2. So if you don't like the way it looks the first time, then put another one on there. Alrighty, it's basically, I'll show you. You can see with the rod pointing down, because this is a spinning reel, that everything's reading, on the side. And you can put it on top if you want to. I like to put it on the side. That way when I'm holding it, everybody knows that I have a Forecast rod. Looks cool. What are you using over there? No, a Forecast. And remember when I said we left this little bit of overhang here so we can wrap over it, making it the same length of here, so I marked it. So now I know I can start my thread and have it the same width as this one so it looks cosmetically correct. Plus I'm wrapping over this corner so it doesn't want to lift up ever, as well as it hides one of the seams. Okay, now we have this overhang here. We're going to wrap over. It looks like about, like I said, about 3/8 off the tip of this guide foot, so we're going to extend it about 3/8, which is perfect. You could measure if you needed to. We're just going to eyeball. Oops, let's get our little deal on there. Okay, we're making our X, and we're going to go ahead and wrap over it. And again, this just hides that seam and helps it from lifting when you put your glue, your finish epoxy on here, your wrap epoxy. There we go. Let's take your time, make sure it's nice and straight. And we'll just cut that, get rid of that. Wrap up the guide foot. Okay, put a loop in. Opposite side. Wrap over 4 or 5 times. Those are pretty close to the same length. Again, it doesn't matter, it's cosmetics, whatever you like and you're happy with. Works for you. That's why it's your rod, your custom rod.